This is the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, episode 719, Edupreneur Rising, How Educators Are Creating Side Hustles for Profit and Purpose. Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, hosted by author, educator, speaker, and mom, the Cool Cat teacher, Vicki Davis. 2020 has been a year of unusual opportunity for educators. Teachers have been finding and developing talents they didn't even know they had. On today's episode, Dr. Will Deymaport talks about trends, topics, and timelessness of something called edupreneurship. Teachers everywhere are doing some inventive things to make ends meet, and Dr. Will went so far as to make a documentary film about it. His works have been noted on Forbes.com, Schoolology Exchange, District Administration, EdSurge, and TechEdge magazines, along with many others. Dr. Will, as he is better known, is a podcaster, writer, documentary filmmaker, and district instructional technologist for the Hattiesburg Public School District, and creator and host of The Dr. Will Show. Get ready for some refreshing inspiration. Enjoy!
I want to thank Advancement Courses for sponsoring today's show. Stay tuned at the end of the show to see how you can save 20% on engaging and meaningful professional development from Advancement Courses. Oh, I am so excited about this show today. Dr. Will Deymaport has a documentary that has been released called The Edupreneur. And Dr. Will, you have over 430 episodes interviewing educators and all the things that they are doing on the side in education. What are some of the types of things that educators are doing these days on the side that you've had on your show?
They're writing books. They are consulting, they're speaking, they're presenting at conferences, they're offering courses, and some of them are, doing businesses like bath salts and candles and things that you would go, okay, that's interesting, because it's not related to, the work that we do every day.
So one thing I want to ask is, some districts frown on educators having a, quote, side hustle. How do educators deal with the fact that, a lot of folks don't think being an edupreneur is a great thing to do?
I think that it is incumbent upon every educator to take stock of their career, take stock of what they're doing, and to always create multiple streams of income. And if you see no problem in getting a part-time job, and we know plenty of our colleagues who do so, why not create that side hustle where you can expand the work that you're already doing, where you can amplify the reason you became an educator in the first place, and where you can go out there and make a greater impact and bring in additional income to yourself or your family. I think educators need to sort of get over the idea of exchanging this for money is bad. One, you don't go to work for free, right? You get a check every month. And if they didn't pay you, would you still show up? I doubt it. So that whole mindset of I'm doing this for a fee, you already do it anyway. You may not think of it as that way, but that is the truth of the matter. And so I think educators need to understand that working for yourself is not a pretty bad idea.
Okay, so out of these 430 episodes, are there some common themes that you have between these shows that you think would shock a lot of educators?
I think the one thing that sticks out is most educators don't start out with the idea of doing this. It just happens, right? Someone asks them, hey, you've been presenting at this conference. Oh, I've seen your blog post here. You're on Twitter doing this. Will you come to our school district? Will you come do this conference? So they sort of get thrown in it. And then after that, it's kind of like, okay, what do I do from here? And then from that, it's sort of figuring out how do they actually make it a business? So that's one of the things that stuck with me, is that people did not start out from day one saying, I'm going to monetize what I do. It's just opportunities came to them, and then they had to figure it out after that.
So do you see a trend that these types of things end up taking the teacher out of the classroom, or do teachers leave the classroom and go back? Do you see any patterns there?
Some educators leave, and I think when it comes to where it becomes a lot of work, or when you have reached the point to where your mission is really bigger than your school, I've seen people step away at that point, or when they feel that their school district handcuffs them. in terms of the school district says, this is our canned curriculum. This is what we have purchased. This is what we want you to use with fidelity. And they're like, no, I don't believe in that. I believe in personalization. I believe in students becoming agents in their own learning. I believe in technology doing X, Y, and Z. And they leave so that they have a greater platform to do the work that speaks to their heart.
Okay, so teachers are listening to this and they're saying, okay, I'm not sure what's next for me, or how do I figure out what I want to do on this side? What's your advice for those educators that are kind of thinking in the back of their mind, I might be able to do something else in addition to being in the classroom?
I say go with what you love and what you are passionate about. Go with what educators are telling you what you're good at. You know, sometimes we overlook our strengths because they just come so natural to us. So we don't think as this is something as worthy of something. But that's when you look at it and go for it. I mean, let's remember, someone has sat in a room and said, you know, it'd be a great movie, Flying Sharks.
Maybe not a great movie, but a whole lot of people have watched Sharknado, huh?
That's all in the movie. Yeah, so that someone greenlit that movie, so that'd be a great idea to put out there. And they've made sequels to that movie. So, you know, don't think of your idea as something that can't be done, or it's too small, or people are already doing it. Because even if you're doing Google and someone else is doing Google, who you are is your secret sauce. And you're going to do it differently than they are.
Well, I like to show my students when we talk about creativity. Lin-Manuel Miranda did his first rap from Hamilton at the White House, and everybody's laughing at him. And they're laughing by the time he finishes that song, which still supposedly was only half written when he performed it. So, you know, sometimes the wildest and craziest ideas do get a laughter at the beginning, and that's okay. So I didn't ask my question. So, Dr. Will, you know, some folks think of this, you know, having a side hustle as kind of, oh, you know, that's just not something that we want to do. You know, do most teachers these days start off with, you know, some TPT products or something like that? Or do you feel most of them kind of go in a completely different direction other than education?
Most of them that I have had on my show are creating businesses based upon their experiences as an educator. There have been some that have gone in different directions, and I like to have those individuals on as well to have those discussions. You know, I've had people like Kai who quit and moved to California and opened up an AR business. It's education in nature, but it's not consulting, right? It's not writing a book. It's not giving those speeches. I'm just all about people doing what feels right, what speaks to them, what they're called to do, and be happy with it. Because we all know that we have bills to pay. We have things that we like to do, and we all have jobs where we cannot go in and negotiate, right? You can't be that teacher that everyone in your classroom did excellent on the test scores, all of your observations are high, and then you go in and say, well, I know I'm making 48 now. I want 60 next year. It doesn't happen. In other professions, you can do it if you rock it like that. It is expected for you to do it, but we don't have that opportunity. So the only way for you to bring in that extra income, you will either have to take on more debt so that you can get out of the classroom, by the way, and take a leadership position or some position at central office, or you're going to have to go work for an ed tech company or create a side hustle. And I like the idea of teachers creating that side hustle where they are still in the classroom, still doing what they feel that they need to be doing, and then just sharing that knowledge that you have to other educators, right? So you're not betraying your mission, you're just building a bigger mission.
I'll tell you this, when I got into teaching those 19 years ago and I was offered my first salary, which obviously was going to be a pay cut because I own my own business. And I said, listen, I have to have a business on the side. Can we make, an intellectual property agreement part of my contract so that I own my intellectual property so that I can afford to be a teacher? And that's the only way I've been able to be a teacher is to have something on the side. Now, at first, it was like a hardware business and I was training adults. And of course, that's changed. But let me ask about you. You're interviewing everybody, Will. And let me ask you, why do you tackle this topic? Why do you have this show? And what's your side hustle?
I tackle it because I believe, first of all, from a money standpoint, financial literacy standpoint, I believe that every educator should have multiple streams of income. Like every individual should have multiple streams of income, period. I tackle it because too many of our colleagues fall in love with our school districts. And we do so to the point to where we don't think of ourselves. And I want to tell educators that you should fall in love with your mission, but not fall in love with the building. And that means any opportunity that you can to work and fulfill your mission, that is where you go and not sort of be beholden, because the reality is when budget cuts come, you can be the one that not have a job next year. And so you can't count on your school district to be your sole income. You can't count on them to say, hey, I'm going to, be teaching here for 30 years and go home. Now, maybe 20 years ago, that was a reality. But now, school districts are dealing with budget cuts just like other businesses are dealing with. And the reality is you can't count on your job being there for you for the next 30 years.
Well, and if you work for yourself, you always have a job.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. As we finish up, I want you to fill in this blank for me. As educators experience this unusual time, I hope they don't blank.
I hope they don't mourn for yesterday, but they get excited for tomorrow.
I love that. Are you excited for tomorrow?
I really am. Consulting money is coming in and I'm working on getting some other deals. And I'm just really excited because what we have seen with this digital disruption and everybody realizing the power of the internet as it is so easy to do phenomenal work that you believe in and not have to leave the house. So I'm very, very, very excited at this point.
So tell everybody about your show, what it's called, and I love how you introduce your show. So you can do your little show intro and what it sounds like, because I do recommend your podcast. Tell us about it.
Oh, thank you. It is the Dr. Will Show. I interview educators and entrepreneurs on leveling up. And so I do have a mixture of educators who are having side hustles of various types, and also bring on people who are full-time entrepreneurs and people who, may be an executive at Google, but they have side hustles themselves.
And lots of advice for us entrepreneurs too.
Yeah. So it's all about you getting some information that can help you get better at becoming a business owner. Because, as you know, as an educator, we are taught curriculum. We're taught lesson planning. We're taught classroom management. Those are things that unless you are teaching a business class, those other skills you don't have. And so to have people come in and talk about how do you find a niche? How do you find your target market? How do you deal with taxes and those things? Because the taxes, that'll scare you that first time because you're getting excited because the check's coming in, but they don't take payroll taxes out of those checks. And come tax time, you will be paying what was not taken out. So those are the things that for people to learn and to understand, bookkeeping and marketing and all of those things. I love having people to come on to give that solid advice for people.
Dr. Will Deymaport and the Dr. Will Show. I highly recommend it. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. It's a new year and time to plan your professional development with advancement courses. They offer over 280 online graduate level PD courses in 20 subject areas. These courses are online and self-paced, so you can take them anywhere, anytime, with up to 6 months to complete. Receive graduate credit through CAEP and regionally accredited university partners, or for continuing education units that meet your state requirements. And right now, you can save 20% off each course with the code COOL20. That's just $120 per graduate credit hour or $160 for 50 clock hours. Go to advancementcourses.com/CoolCat and use the coupon code COOL20 to get your 20% off. I'm getting ready to select my advancement courses class for this year, so take time to pick yours out now. That's advancementcourses.com/CoolCat. And the coupon code is COOL20. Never stop learning.